Welcome to Flashback Tracks. Travel back in time each Friday to an era of big hair, leg warmers, and Walkmans.
Far out.
Veg out with some clips from Downtime Broadcasting's promotional audio cassette magazine from the 80s and 90s, right here on the World Wide Web.
Presenting Sales Motion by Terry Dodd.
When to make a move. A successful distributor and friend recently asked me for my advice on his planned move to larger office space. I asked him if the need to move was precipitated by an increased sales force or by expanded business, which included a requirement for additional facilities. He said, neither actually. It just seemed that what once had been adequate space was no longer the case. That seemed challenging enough, so I began playing specialty detective with, have you added more equipment besides your computer? Filing cabinets, he said. We're selling from quite a larger number of lines than we were just 5 years ago, and of course we maintain some extra catalogs on each of our preferred supplier lines. But that has only added 8 5-drawer cabinets, he objected. I pressed this clue with, how often do you require everyone, including yourself, to go through their complete files, disposing of unneeded materials? You have to be kidding, he replied incredulously. You know we're too busy shifting filing cabinets around to be going through them. This seller could obviously use my help. As a matter of fact, he could use almost anyone's help, at least anyone willing to ask a few questions and listen to the answers. What about samples? Do you have a problem there? Was my next logical probe. No problem at all, came his sincere response. We've got 'em all. I tried to clarify with, you mean you stay on top of ordering and storing replacement samples each year? At which suggestion my friend beamed, better than that. We have almost everything back to 1972. Don't throw anything away. Shoot, in about 50 years or so, even the calendars will be reusable, the way those dates seem to rearrange themselves. One last question, and then you can get out your hand truck and get on with your move, I said. I knew then that I couldn't help him. I know the difference between when advice is wanted and when a comment on a newborn baby is being asked. I did want to complete for myself the answer to the mystery, however. I asked, exactly where do you keep these samples? Why, in the back room, of course, except for the small plastics. We keep those in the basement. And then he added, funny thing, though. They used to take up just a corner, but now they occupy the whole level. Why do you suppose that is? He seemed to be asking out of genuine concern. And was it my imagination that detected the faintest note of fear in his voice? I was afraid that my distributor friend was not up to the reality of the overall situation, certainly not the last chilling revelation. I simply could not bring myself to give him my diagnosis on that point. That specialty advertising samples, especially small plastics, when left in total darkness, tend to breed. He made his move. He had little choice, given the state of his convictions and the one immutable law of specialty advertising. Samples and catalogs expand to fill the available space.
Travel back in time with us next Friday as we share more clips from the 80s and 90s on another rad episode of Flashback Tracks, exclusively on Promo Corner. Time to bounce.